Hello, today. I am sorry about the fan noises. You're gonna have to deal with it at least for a little bit of this video because I am literally burning up and I would be very uncomfortable if these fans were not here. So yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about a transphobe, and yes, I turned off the fans because, the fans were just way too fucking loud. But we're talking about a transphobe today. Yeah, we're talking about this video. Yeah, if you're transphobic, I would personally tell you not to watch this video. You might get a bit too triggered by actual biology. You might get a little upset. But yeah, let's get on to the video.
Welcome to your car conversation.
Why do transphobes always, act so happy while they're, being absolutely shitty? These people are fucking psychopaths, I swear.
Men can't menstruate, period.
Males can't menstruate. Men can menstruate, but males can't. Obviously, people with penises cannot menstruate. No fucking shit. But not all people with penises are men, and not all men have penises. Now, in most cases, I'm totally chill with people using the word man and male interchangeably, but when it comes to trans issues, that's really these people's downfall. The fact that they're using men and male interchangeably. The term male refers to a biological sex. The term man or boy refers to a gender role. You can be a man without being a male, and you can be a male without being a man. It's not that hard to understand, and the fact that these people love to, dance around it and be and never, actually address that. Most transphobes never actually address the difference between gender and sex. They just act as if they're the same, and then use their arguments based off of that assumption, and they know it's not true. Most of them know that, sex and gender are not the same thing, yet they push that because it fits their narrative. And there are quite a few people who still think that sex and gender are the same thing. They're not.
That's what we're talking about.
Based on misinformation.
And I can already hear it coming because you've already DM'd me, but Bethany, you're confused because there are women, biological women, who identify as men.
Whoa, let me stop you right there. Biological women don't exist. Biological females exist. Biological males exist. There's no such thing as a biological man or a biological woman. And sure, you can use those things interchangeably. Biological man, biological male, biological woman, biological female. You can use those interchangeably in most cases, but trans issues is one of the few cases where you should not use man and male and woman and female interchangeably, because the difference between sex and gender is extremely fucking important when it comes to talking about trans issues, which is why you shouldn't say biological man, biological woman, because it's literally just confusing your audience. Because biological men don't fucking exist. Biological women don't fucking exist. There's biological females, there's biological males. You're not born biologically a certain gender. It's a social role. You're born biologically a sex. You're born biologically male, biologically female, or intersex. And you're given a specific social role, usually based on your genitals, usually based on your sex. Now, sometimes people prefer a different social role than what corresponds to their sex. That's what trans people are. Trans men are still men. They're not males, but they're men. Trans women are still women. They're not females, but they're women. That's why distinguishing the difference between sex and gender when talking about this is so unbelievably important.
And they menstruate every month, so get your facts straight.
I mean, yeah, you do need to get your facts straight.
And I hate to say, but I completely disagree with you.
You're disagreeing with biology. You do know that, right? Biology isn't something you just disagree with. Like, that's not how anything works. Biology is facts.
Biological men cannot menstruate.
Biological men don't exist. Like I explained, biological males can't menstruate. No fucking shit. Nobody is arguing that people with dicks can menstruate. Nobody's saying that people with dicks can menstruate. Nobody. People are saying that men can menstruate because not all men have penises. Not all men are males. Like, why are you not getting this? This seems like such an easy thing to, like, grasp. Like, why is a 14-year-old explaining to you, a 33-year-old fucking woman, how biology works?
If you are saying a man is menstruating, you are referring to a biological woman.
Biological female, you dumbass. But, if we're just gonna ignore the fact that you're, mixing up sex with gender, if we're just gonna ignore that, yeah, trans men are biologically female. Oh my god, such a hot take. Oh my god, dude, that's such a hot take that people who are transgender are the opposite sex of their gender. Whoa, never heard anything so brave of you to say. Oh my gosh. Like, dude. Like, are you kidding me? No shit. Trans men are actually biologically female. Yeah? Who the fuck is arguing that? Like, are you kidding me? Somebody being a biological female does not mean that that's a woman. That's not how that works, because, again, sex and gender are two different things. Yes, a lot of biological females are women. For example, you. But that doesn't mean that every single female is a woman. That's not how that works. That's not how biology works. Gender and biology are not the same thing. They can differentiate. They do differentiate.
And in fact, when I was younger, I remember being at the checkout line of the grocery store. And I remember seeing something that to me at the time was very disturbing because it was so shocking, especially back then. I'm 33 and I don't even know how old I was. I was a kid. And I remember seeing a magazine, no idea what magazine it was, but it was basically a picture of what looked like a man that was very pregnant, like 8 months pregnant, 9 months pregnant. It was like very, very pregnant. And it was something to the effect, the title was something to the effect of like, whoa, like, man gets pregnant or whatever. And I just remember being a kid and being extremely confused and disturbed, honestly.
Trans men exist, and they get pregnant sometimes. Grow the fuck up.
By this picture that I saw, and it wasn't until later, when I grew up a little bit, that I realized, oh, that wasn't a man, a biological man, that actually got pregnant. That was a female, a biological woman.
A female, a biological woman. You were so close to saying biological female. Why can't you just be, like, correct for once? Just please say biological female or biological male. I will be so fucking happy. Please, just say it once. Also, oh, I figured out that this man was actually a biological female. Yeah, that's you figuring out that trans people exist. Like, I don't understand, is this supposed to be, like, shocking? Like, oh my god, this kid was exposed to the transgenders! Like, what? Like, I was so confused. Yeah, you wanna know what also makes kids confused? When they're fucking sitting in school and listening to fucking your teacher talk about math all day. That confuses them. Should we ban math from schools? Should we ban children from seeing math because it confuses them? And especially with trans issues. Little kids aren't gonna understand trans issues most of the time. No shit. It's literally not some terrible thing that kids are being confused by trans people. Because all they've learned is, this is a boy, this is a girl. Boy have penis, girl have vagina. But then they'll find something that disproves that, and they're confused. No shit. Kids are confused by math. Kids are confused by fucking, algebra and shit. Dude, does that mean that we shouldn't have algebra? Or, kids shouldn't be exposed to algebra? That's not how it works. Is that what you're implying here? That if something confuses a child, it shouldn't be shown to the child? That's what school is for, and that's why a lot of trans activists are pushing people to learn about trans and gay people in schools.
Who identified as a man.
You say that as if it's a bad thing, when you identify as a woman. Cis men identify as men. That's just how it works. It's not just trans people who have gender identities. Everyone has a gender identity. Literally everyone has some kind of gender identity, including cisgender people. You identify as a woman. Cis men identify as men.
Who was now pregnant. And so I think that, unfortunately, the world is very confused.
Yeah, guys, it's not me that's confused. It's the entirety of biology that's confused. It's the world that's confused. We live in a society.
And many are very confused. And when I tried to say things like, no, men can't menstruate, men can't have periods, men can't breastfeed, men can't have babies,
people shut you down and explained why that's bullshit based on, actual fact. But of course, you won't take that because it doesn't fit your narrative that trans people are just delusional. Because of course, you don't actually care about the facts. You just want to spread your little narrative based on really fucking old shit that people believed a long time ago, but now that the world is changing, you're crying about it because boo-hoo, I want to still keep my old bigoted views without anyone hating on me. You can keep your old bigoted views, but, expect people to shit on you for it because that's just how the world works. If you're out here shitting on trans people, telling them that they're not allowed to do what they want because it makes you uncomfortable, it confuses confused you as a child, then trans people are allowed to tell you to fuck off.
I'm viewed as the one that's not understanding biology and not understanding science.
You apparently know so much about biology, yet you don't bother to, differentiate the difference between a male and a man or a female and a woman, because there's a fucking difference, and if you actually knew anything about biology, you would know that. You're literally basing this off of shit you learned in fucking elementary school sex ed. Are you kidding me?
And not with the times. It's just crazy. So
you literally haven't explained anything. All you've said is, that's a biological woman, that's a biological man. You haven't explained why that doesn't make them, why that doesn't make them the gender that they identify as. You haven't explained that, and you're acting like you're truly destroying those transgenders. You're destroying the trans activists. No, you're not. You're just saying, that's a biological female, that's a biological male, and just not giving any explanation to your claims. First of all, not only are you just being blatantly wrong about parts of biology and saying that things are biological when they're fucking not only are you doing that, but you're also not explaining shit. You literally, the only thing you've given was you, as a child, being kind of confused by a transgender person on a magazine. Are you kidding me? What even is this video? Just you saying, hey guys, I'm transphobic. This video isn't doing anything. You're not, are you trying to prove trans people wrong? Because you're doing a really shitty job at it.
If you're a Christian woman watching this,
oh god, not this argument.
Car conversation. Yeah, it's kind of a deep conversation for a car conversation, and I've got the a nice little lake in the background, but we're just going there. We're having this conversation. This is actually kind of a shortened version of the podcast that just released over at our podcast, The Girl Defined Show.
Holy shit, this Terf is a podcast. Oh God.
I talked all about Miss Universe and a recent post that they put out, and it basically was a guide for how to talk about periods, and the whole guide was basically, don't say this, like don't say women who have periods, say people who have periods, don't say, you know, basically all of those talking points about how we need to have inclusive language and we need to be very careful about how we talk.
I doubt that there's people out there who are just forcing people to use inclusive language. Because, forcing people to use inclusive language is never gonna fucking work. People are just gonna not do it out of spite. I'm totally for inclusive language. I'll always, like, forget to use it time to time, but I try my best to use inclusive language when I can. But not everybody has to use inclusive language. It's literally not that big of a fucking deal. You want to use inclusive language? Use inclusive language. If you want to use, like, the language that stuff like saying pregnant women instead of pregnant people, whatever the fuck, who cares? It's not offending anyone. Like, nobody's gonna be like, do you mean pregnant people? Like, no. Soon, we'll probably get to a time where everybody's using inclusive language, and that'd be great, but we can't just force everyone to use inclusive language. And I don't think there's anybody who's doing that, and if they are, then that's just, like, one person that does not actually describe the entire trans community. The trans community supports inclusive language. They don't force it on people.
Because, you know, it's the biological sex doesn't matter. It's all in how a person identifies.
It's almost like biological sex and gender are two different things.
And so we want to be inclusive. And I personally just unpacked how I think that is the most ridiculous, damaging thing ever.
How the fuck is it damaging? You can't just say, see this thing that literally does nothing other than include trans people? Yeah, that's damaging. To who? Your fragile ego? Like, what?
And, you know, also, it's just insane to me that these feminists, these women who have been fighting here in America for so many years to get women's rights, women's equality, opportunities for biological women, are now the ones at the front of the line saying, yeah, don't say women have periods, don't say women can breastfeed, don't say people, a person who chest feeds, you know, we need to be more inclusive. It's
wow, who knew that people who are progressive and want rights for women also want rights for trans people? Whoa, my mind is blown, guys. Also, nobody is saying that, oh, you're not allowed to say that women breastfeed. Like, no, nobody's fucking saying that. People are just saying, hey, some people should use inclusive language and be like, you know, say chest feeding instead of breastfeeding, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean you have to, and that doesn't mean that people are trying to ignore the fact that women do things. Like, what, are you saying this shit is like, are you trying to accuse these feminists of being sexist or something because they're, you know, including women in something? Like, I'm confused. Because women are still fucking included. Calm the fuck down. You don't have to, when you're feeding your child, you do not have to call it chest feeding. Just some trans men would rather, when they feed their child, would like to call it chest feeding. What the fuck is the issue? What is the issue? Why are you so triggered about this? Calm the fuck down, please.
like, they're the very ones now trying to erase us before our very eyes.
Dude, people aren't saying only men can breastfeed. Calm the fuck down. Please. Please, lady. Calm the fuck down. Stop being a Karen and calm the fuck down. Nobody's rights are getting taken away because some people choose to say chest feeding instead of breastfeeding. Women's rights aren't being taken away. Women aren't being erased by my very eyes. No. Women are still included. You're allowed, when you're feeding your child, again, you're allowed to call it breastfeeding. There is nothing fucking wrong with that. You're allowed to say pregnant woman. You're allowed to say, I'm a pregnant woman. You're allowed to say pregnant women. You're allowed to say that. It's just, some people prefer to use inclusive language, and that if that pisses you off, you are a snowflake. You are being a snowflake, and you're the kind of person who would call people snowflakes for using inclusive language. Yeah, you're mad. Nobody's mad that people aren't using inclusive language. People are just mad that people are just saying shit like this, being like, oh my god, inclusive language is taking away women's rights. It's not. Calm the fuck down. Please. Like, calm down. Chill out. Like, seriously.
And it's not just, y'all, it's not just that God created man and God created woman.
I don't think God created man and women. I don't think God exists. That completely destroys your argument because, nobody has proof that this God actually exists other than the Bible, which isn't proof. So, unless you can somehow prove that God exists, which I know you can't do, you can't use this as an actual argument. You're allowed to personally believe that God created man and woman. That does not mean you get to use that as an objective argument against transgender people, because you literally cannot prove that God exists or that God created man and woman. There is nothing that proves that. Like, seriously, you can't use this as an actual argument. You're allowed to personally believe it, but you can't use it as an argument against a group of people.
And they are different, and no matter how we feel on the inside.
I'm sorry, but the Bible doesn't support biology. Literally, a girl in the Bible got pregnant without having sex, but apparently we're supposed to believe that's true. But also, it supports biology. Okay, got it. Like, the Bible is just essentially just magic. It's like a dark book with, magical stories in it. Like, that's essentially what it is. And you think that book supports biology? Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you actually kidding me?
No matter how we think we identify, God is not a God of confusion. He did not make a mistake.
Again, not everyone is Christian. Shut up about this Christian bullshit. I can tell that you like talking about Christianity on your channel, but if you're actually trying to argue trans issues, keep your religion out of it. Seriously, keep your religion out of it. Because your religion doesn't prove anything. God is not a God of mistakes. I don't even think God fucking exists. Unless we have proof that God exists, I do not care.
If you are born a biological woman,
kill me.
That is his good design for you. And even if you're struggling with that, you can press into the fact that God has a good plan for you, that he is a loving savior, and that he made you a woman on purpose.
Most trans people literally do not give a shit about the Christian God. Please shut up.
You can take cues from the fact that God made you a biological woman.
Does this lady not realize that she's essentially making the same argument as, get exercised and then your schizophrenia will go away? That's not how that works. You can't just cure gender dysphoria with God. It's something that you need treatment for to be able to help. And you want to know what that treatment is? Transitioning to the opposite gender or any other gender that you wish to transition as. Being a transgender person is literally the treatment for gender dysphoria. And you are saying, don't do that, God will help you. That's like people being like, don't take that medication for your schizophrenia, just get exercise, just pray a bunch and it'll go away. The demons will come out of you. Seriously. This is so fucking stupid, and this is essentially the same argument as God will cure mental illness. God does not cure mental illness. Literally. Like, seriously, this is so fucking stupid.
Same goes for a man, but it's not just like men and women. There are beautiful differences between men and women. And instead of just saying like, well, it's just a woman or it's just a man, it's like we need to celebrate those differences.
Oh yes, but trans people are bad and we can't celebrate their differences. Only cis people can celebrate their differences, but if you're trans, stop it. If we're under the assumption that God exists and God has a plan for you, by this same logic, you can't wear glasses, you can't take HRT for menopause, you can't take birth control for your period, you can't take birth control in general, Let's see, you can't get surgery of any kind. Like, seriously, this is so stupid. Like, I've said this so many times, but this is so stupid. By the same logic, getting, getting your tonsils taken out would also be, like, bad and disrespectful to God.
God made us equally valuable, but purposely different. He created women to have wombs, to have a uterus.
What about the cisgender women who don't have a uterus? Because that's a thing. You can be born without a uterus and be a cisgender woman. That's a thing. Or you can be born with a uterus that doesn't work, that doesn't do its intended purpose. You know, infertile people. Are you really, like, what's the deal with them then?
To be able to carry and bring forth life, something a man, biological man.
Please, just say biological male or biological female one time and I will be happy. Please, just once.
Cannot do. It is physically impossible for him to do that naturally. And breastfeeding, you know, I mean, you heard that insane story a couple months ago about a man who transitioned to a woman, but was talking about his experience with breastfeeding the baby that his wife or whoever he didn't give birth to it, somebody else gave birth to it, but he was trying to breastfeed, but they were saying they were having trouble with the milk coming in because he is a biological man.
Pronouns aren't fucking biological, so by this logic of, oh, well, you're a biological man, you should be using she, her pronouns, because, pronouns aren't fucking biological, they're based on gender. Also, I'm pretty sure that males are able to lactate, it's just very rare. But they can sometimes. Like, that's a thing.
He is not a woman.
Woman refers to gender, which means yes, she is in fact a woman. You claim to know so much about biology, yet you're saying that somebody who is biologically a male can't be a woman when that's not fucking true. You're literally going off of shit you learned in fucking elementary school, which is a very, very simplified version of gender and sex. You're literally going off of shit you learned in elementary school. Are you kidding me? Yet, like, real, actual, like, biologists could easily come in here and fucking prove you wrong easily, but you wouldn't listen to them because they're just brainwashed by the libs. Like, seriously, you think you know so much about biology, yet not only are you using religion to justify you being a transphobe, but also you're saying that a male can't be a woman, which is factually not true because women aren't always female.
And so it's just, when you take a step back, it is so sad to me, the chaos that the world is in.
Trans people exist, and that makes me uncomfortable. The world is in chaos because transgender people want to live their fucking lives.
And their answer is, no, you need to press into this. You need to be more inclusive. You need to use the pronouns that everyone wants. You need to use the terms and the language that everyone wants.
First of all, nobody is forcing you to use inclusive language. Shut up. Second of all, yeah, people are gonna be mad if you don't respect them as people. Yeah, use their fucking pronouns if you're not going to do that. They have every right to be mad at you. It's like, you know, you're legally allowed to go up to a random person and say, hey, I think you look ugly and I think you're disgusting and terrible. You're allowed to go up to somebody and say that, but they have every right to say that you're a fucking asshole for it. That's the same thing with this. You're allowed to disrespect somebody's gender identity. You just have to, you know, accept that you are going to get backlash and you're going to be seen as a shit person because you're being a shit person. Like, seriously, people want you to use their pronouns because not only is it polite, is it, you know, just common fucking courtesy, but also because it helps people with gender dysphoria, and you purposely causing people distress is very fucking disrespectful. You don't want to use trans people's correct pronouns? Don't fucking talk about or interact with trans people then.
It's because that's what's best for our mental health. That's what's best for the health of these individuals.
How dare you ask me to respect somebody's mental health?
And I would completely disagree, and I think that statistics over the last few years show you that they disagree as well.
Suicide is a complex behavior which results from the complicated interaction of biological, psychological, cognitive, and environmental factors. Suicide rate and suicidal tendencies among transgender community have been reported to be high compared to the general population. The suicide rate among transgender individuals in India is about 31%, and 50% of them have attempted suicide at least once before their 20th birthday. And 40 to 50 persons commit suicide every year in I don't know how to pronounce that state, but that state alone. However, the exact prevalence of completed suicide amongst transgender persons remain undocumented. The gender-based discrimination has prevented them by obtaining education, livelihood, and housing, because of which they are living in slums and have to resort to begging and sex work. These pitiful conditions lead them to break down further in their life in suicide. The high prevalence of depression and suicidal tendencies among transgender persons seem to be highly influenced by societal stigma, lack of social support, HIV status, and violence-related issues, which require further through investigation and necessary mental health counseling, crisis management, addressing drug abuse, providing them livelihood opportunities, and so on as part of the intervention. AKA, the reason why trans people are so mentally ill is because people treat them like dog shit. Another reason that trans people commit suicide is because of their gender dysphoria. And you want to know what makes their gender dysphoria worse? People treating them as if they're the gender that they aren't. AKA, people calling trans women men, people calling trans men women. That will make their gender dysphoria worse. AKA, that will make them more likely to be mentally ill or have suicidal thoughts. Meaning that a lot of the trans suicide rate could be prevented if people just treated trans people with respect. Meaning that what you're doing, the narrative you're pushing, is harming trans people.
I mean, suicide rates, depression, anxiety, everything is absolutely through the roof. And I don't think it's just because of the difficulties of COVID that we went through. I think it's because we are pressing into absolute insanity.
Are you actually saying that trans people being able to live their lives is why people kill themselves? Are you fucking stupid? Even if trans people were, like, disproven and shit by biology, which is not true, by the way, even if that was the case, why would people be killing themselves over it? Like, would transphobes be killing themselves because they got called a bigot once? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
And honestly, I don't even know what's going to happen in 10, 20 years when this next generation that we are confusing the heck out of,
ban math 2022,
grows up and, had chopped off body parts at 14, 15, 16.
Honey, trans people are barely allowed in the US military. Do you really think that anytime in the near future, kids that are like 14, 13 are gonna be able to chop their dicks off? Are you kidding me? That's literally that's something that transphobes made up, that young kids are allowed to get surgeries. That's not fucking true. They cannot get top surgery. They cannot get bottom surgery. In fact, I'm pretty sure in America, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure the youngest you can be and get these kinds of surgeries is 16 in certain places, and you have to have a doctor's note, therapist note, you have to have explicit parental consent, you have to have so much shit, and it'll take a stupid amount of time for you to get accepted to do that. But oh no, they're cutting 5-year-olds' dicks off if they play with fucking Barbies. Yes, totally. Like, all this shit isn't true. Like, the most the most young kids will be on is hormone blockers, which are completely irreversible. And the whole, oh, but they're used to castrate sex offenders is bullshit, because it's chemical castration, meaning that it is completely fucking reversible. It is reversible.
And now they're 30 and, can't live out the normal function that they once were able to.
The people who get genital surgeries are totally fucking aware that they're not going to be able to produce kids. They're not going to be able to produce sperm. They're not going to be able to carry a child. They're not going to be able to do any of that. They know that. No shit. That is going to be told to them time and time again. Obviously. And it is their choice. And keep in mind, these aren't little kids who are getting genital surgeries. These are people who are usually adults who are fully aware of the risks of doing this surgery and will decide to do it anyway because it is their fucking body and it is their fucking choice. Like, obviously, though, you have to act like, it's like fucking 5-year-olds are getting their dicks chopped off because, like, oh yeah, we gotta make a think of the children argument, because if we don't, all arguments don't stand. But no kid, nobody who's like fucking 12 or 13 is getting genital surgeries. Most people at 12 or 13 aren't even getting hormones.
Or kids who are 2, 3, 4 are being told, that there is no such thing as a man or a woman. It's all who you want to be.
First of all, nobody is telling 5-year-olds that gender doesn't exist. Second of all, gender is a social construct, meaning that if you really think about it, it doesn't really exist. Third of all, telling a child they can be who they want, oh yeah, that's so bad. That's such a bad thing to do. You're indoctrinating our kids. Like, what the fuck even is this video?
To me, that is only contributing to the problem of the major mental breakdown that's happening in our world.
Oh yeah, it's totally not because people treat trans and gay people like absolute fucking shit. No, it's because of those damn transgenders trying to indoctrinate our kids. Literally, there are many fucking studies that have proved that a trans person transitioning makes their mental state better.
We're not here by accident. We didn't create ourselves. We didn't come up with the idea of gender.
Yes, we fucking did. Shut up.
We didn't come up with the idea of marriage.
Yes, we did.
We didn't come up with the idea of family.
I mean, we came up with certain aspects of family, but, like, the true foundation of family, which is, like, protection and shit like that, is biological. That's why a lot of parents have a very strong urge to protect their kids. That's biological. But that doesn't mean that every single aspect of family is biological. And again, you think you know so much about biology, yet you're trying to say that marriage is biological. Are you fucking stupid? And the thing is, you're going by your fucking religion, which does not matter in this situation. If we are talking about biology, bringing up religion or things that your religion says is the dumbest shit in the world. God created marriage. Shut up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your personal beliefs. There is no proof of that. Shut up.
We didn't come up with any of that. God is our creator. He loves us so much.
Well, I don't love him back. Also, again, God has not been proven to be real, therefore you cannot use God as an argument for any of this. And again, why are you talking about religion when the main topic is about biology? Religion does not reflect biology. In fact, there's a lot of shit in the Bible that is just biologically just stupid, like the whole Virgin Mary thing and a shit ton of other things. Like, you're essentially just taking a magical book and being like, yeah, see this, guys? This is biology. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You cannot say that you know a shit ton about biology and science, yet you are talking about your fucking religion. Nobody cares about your religion. And I know people are gonna take that as being mean because, boo-hoo, I'm bullying Christians. No, me saying that you should not be talking about your religion in a discussion about biology is not anti-Christian. Shut up, believe what you want, but shut up about your religion when it comes to important topics about this, when it comes to shit like science. Religion is not science. I'm sorry.
He so intentionally created man and woman. He so intentionally created woman with the beautiful functions, the beautiful design. He created men with their own unique design, their own abilities and strengths. And instead of pushing against that or rejecting it altogether, we need to step into that and say, thank you, God.
Nah, I'm gonna pick a fight with God for giving me gender dysphoria.
Not even just accepting it, but having a heart of gratitude, saying, thank you, God, for your good plan.
If his plan is anti-trans, it fucking sucks.
Thank you for your good design. I know that there is freedom that comes when I walk in your good design for me, and so I'm going to embrace that. And I would just encourage you as a Christian, it's not loving to lie to people.
A little bit earlier.
So we didn't come up with the idea of gender. We didn't come up with the idea of marriage.
Either of the two sexes, male or female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. You want to know what social means? People, society. You want to know what cultural means? People, society. It's almost like it's shit that we made up a long time ago, and God didn't just say, let me, women wear dress and man wear suit. Marriage, the legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. Guess fucking what? Legal shit was made by people. Laws were made by people, meaning that if marriage is legal, then marriage was made by people.
It's not loving to be a pushover. It's not loving to just go with the flow because you're scared.
Doesn't your book literally fucking say that if you don't follow God, you're going to hell and burning for all eternity? Isn't that the thing that parents tell their young kids to get them to follow Christianity? Isn't that doing the exact same fucking thing that you're complaining about here? Are you kidding me? Also, people shouldn't be going with the flow because they're scared. What people are doing is respecting each other and getting mad when they're not respected. If you are scared of that person because of that, don't fucking interact with them, dumbass.
I think that true love is speaking truth kindly.
Yeah, let me just disrespect trans people, but then say we should speak the truth kindly. You have not been kind or been speaking the truth in this video. Again, shut the fuck up.
And, it's not truthful to tell a biological man that he can be a woman.
Gender, either of the two sexes, male or female, especially when considered with reference to social or cultural differences rather than biological ones.
And it's not truthful to tell a biological woman that she can truly be a man.
Do I need to fucking read it again?
And I think that we're only putting more fuel on this out of control fire by doing that, and we're pulling people away from God rather than towards.
Your religion does not fucking matter. Shut up. Nobody cares. You're allowed to talk about your religion, but maybe don't do it when you're talking about biology and trans people, because not only are most trans people not fucking religious, but also most trans people don't give a fuck about what you have to say about God anyway.
You can feel free to disagree with me, but that is truly my perspective, and I think scripture backs all of that up 1,000%.
You can't have an opinion on biology. Biology is factual. Yeah, guys, this is just my opinion on biology. I think that religion defines biology, even though there's no proof of literally anything in the Bible happening. But yeah, I hope God will save all the transgenders, blah, blah. Shut up, please. Please. I'm so glad this video is almost over.
Nowhere in scripture do we see the affirmation of a man marrying a man, a woman marrying a woman.
Well, shit, she's homophobic too. Who would have guessed? Someday I'm gonna marry a woman just out of spite.
And a man becoming a woman becoming a man.
I mean, yeah, maybe in the Bible it didn't say, thou shalt support the transgenders, or thou shalt support the gays, because, people like that weren't really, known. Like, people didn't really realize, hey, gay people exist. Hey, trans people exist, especially trans people. You want to know when the Bible was written? It was written so fucking long ago. So fucking long ago. Like, seriously. The Bible was written so long ago. Like, people didn't realize that gay people existed. People didn't realize that trans people existed. Why would it be in the Bible? Oh, right, because people like you think God himself wrote the Bible. Great.
God has so clearly gendered very specifically throughout scripture. He has so clearly laid out his plan, and ultimately it's not even about us. It's ultimately about God and glorifying him and living for him.
That's fucking selfish as hell. Hey, let me make a whole fucking race of people just to fucking have them worship me. Does that not sound like a fucking, like, evil villain? Like, I'm sorry, but, like, goddamn.
And when we make our identity, our sexuality, our gender, whatever, the most important thing about us, like, especially in this world where they say it can constantly be changing, we are just setting ourselves up for so much emotional heartache and craziness.
What? How? You literally have not explained anything. You're just saying this and then acting as if, like, God believes it when there's, like, literally no proof of... First of all, there's, of course, no proof of God existing in the first place, but even if he did exist, there's no proof that what you're saying is shit that God actually believes. Because last time I checked, it does not say, don't make your sexuality a whole personality. Don't be quirky in the, Bible, last time I checked. Second of all, you don't like people who make their sexuality their whole personality. Ever heard of alpha males? Maybe you should be going after alpha males instead of gay people, honestly.
And I think that it's time to be bold and to be kind.
Unless you're trans or gay.
But to not affirm that.
Be kind, but don't be kind if they're gay or trans. You should respect everyone unless they're gay or trans. If so, tell them how terrible they are and how they need to find God.
And to say no, I stand on the word of God.
Dude, if God hates me just because I like to kiss girls, fuck God. I don't give a shit about him.
And if you view disagreement as hate.
Cool, can I disagree with Christianity then? Or are you gonna get mad at me for that and say how God is gonna punish me or something?
That's your perspective, but it's very possible to disagree and still want what's best for other people.
My dude, statistics literally disprove that you want the best for other people. Trans people are killing themselves, and it's not because people are affirming their gender identity. It's because people are literally hate criming them, because people are speaking out against them, saying how terrible they are for no fucking reason, for living their lives as people. Trans people are not fucking harming you, so stop harming them.
And viewing what's best as something completely different than what they view as completely different. So I just want to encourage you as a Christian to be bold. I just want to encourage you to know that there are people who are willing to say, you know, what used to be the obvious.
Yeah, what used to be the obvious back when gender studies were basically non-fucking existent, but now that people have actually began to study gender in a more detailed way, we found out that gender isn't what we thought it was, and it's been like that for a long fucking time. But you're not fucking adjusting, because you want to hold on to your fucking age-old beliefs for no fucking reason. Science changes. Science, people find out more about science every single fucking day, and that includes biology.
And we're not going to back down or shy away. If you want to take a deep dive, go listen to the Girl Defined show. I think it was episode 82. But yeah, that's our perspective over here at Girl Defined. Men can't menstruate, period.
My brother's literally a guy and he menstruates. Just letting you know.
And biological men cannot be women. Biological women cannot be men.
Okay, then she just talks about religious shit and blah blah blah, follow me. Yeah. So, more of the story, don't go against facts because you want to follow a specific narrative. And also, don't say that you love everyone, yet blatantly not love everyone. Please, stop. So, yeah, this video was, quite tiring, which is why next video I'm probably just gonna be making fun of more of my old content like I did last video, because, it's fun, and I have a shit ton of old content. When I say a shit ton, I mean, like, 2 fucking YouTube channels worth of lots of delicious content. So, I hope you guys have a great day, and, I hope all my trans followers are doing great, and you guys are all valid. I love you all. Goodbye.